They're not stumbling at each other. There's no division. There's no stumbling blocks, is what it was. No stumbling. They're single. They're together. You know, like a marching band, like an army. You've seen them? Wow, they're in order. They're stepping together. And we're just amazed by that. This church is stepping together, marching to the same tune. They're not stumbling. They're single, working in singleness of heart. 47, praising God and having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. So we had that initial revival, and now this is ongoing. People are getting saved. And many of these are those same that said, crucify him. His blood be upon us and our children. We have no king but Caesar. They're not being changed by politics. They're being changed by Jesus Christ. Through a church that's unified and praying. Now we bring it down to chapter 3. And we're going to take a few minutes now. It's going to take us a few weeks to work through chapter 3 to get to chapter 4. But it's all one story, and it is a phenomenal story. It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Hear what's going to happen in chapter 3 and chapter 3 p.m. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who, seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, and he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Then Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Can this man walk? What do you say? That's good. Okay, Mr. Miller says now he can. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's start at the beginning. The beautiful gate. Where is it? You know, we don't exactly know which of the several gates around Jerusalem might have been the beautiful gate. Possibly on the south side, definitely one leading up to the Temple Mount. Here's a man who from his birth has never walked. It's not due to some injury, whatever. The man is lame. You look at his legs. What do they look like? You know, what do they look like? Yeah, spindly, right? Thin, emaciated. He's never walked. There's no muscle tone there. There's likely no feeling. There's certainly no response. Do you think he's ever tried? Do you think he's ever tried? Would you? Would he have ever thought, I think I feel something? Did you see that? I think something is happening there. Did he ever think that maybe? Probably. And nothing did happen. So what was the plan? The plan was the same as it's always been. His friends would bring him to this spot. What does it say? How often did he come here? Every day. And what do you suppose would be his highest hope that would ever happen here at this key place? You know, location, location, location. He's in the entrance of the beautiful gate. There's a lot of beggars here. In every gate, catching those, you know those really religious people that are headed up to the temple, that if you really want to get a hold of God, you ought to give alms, you ought to care for the poor, of course you should do that. And so these people, they've got the key. And he has the key position. He's got the location. Don't you know? More people have to go through this gate. More people are going to pass by him. What is the highest that he could hope for on this day? Is he thinking today I'm going to walk? No. I hope I, get a good take today. Right? He knows he's been here for so many years. We don't know how many. He's been here for so many years. He's done this so long. He knows exactly how to present himself. Why did Peter say, "Look on us"? Why did he say that? Because he wasn't looking at him. Right? Stands to reason. Why wasn't he looking at him? Because he wants to present a very humble thing. He's raising something and he just crying out alms, maybe glancing up and back down again. He knows exactly how to do it. Peter says, "Look at me. Look up here. Look me in the eye." He's not used to looking people in the eye. They don't want to be looked in the eye. He looks them in the eye. But honestly, he only expects to go home today the same way he came. Isn't that interesting? Sunday we talked about two men who go up into the temple. Come as you are, leave as you were. Is that what happened to him this day? Did he leave the way he came? No. So he does look up, expecting, though, to receive something. You know what that something is. The little jingle in the cup. Something. And here's somebody who stopped and is addressing him. That's unusual. I'm going to get a big one this time. He looks up, and Peter disappoints him to say, "Silver and gold have I none." I don't have what you're looking for. If Peter hadn't continued, this guy would be pretty disgusted with Peter. He'd probably say, "Move along then. You're blocking the others." But Peter didn't stop there. He said, "I don't have silver and gold to give you, but such as I have, give I thee." Do you know you can't give to somebody else what you don't have to give? Now, you could be born again and still not be living in the reality of Jesus to give that reality to somebody else. Such as I have, give I thee. It wasn't long ago, weeks ago, when even women asked Peter, he swore and denied, "I don't know the man." How different he is now. Such as I have Jesus, and I'm offering him to you. That's what he said. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Now here's a fascinating thing. Do you think Jesus ever walked through this gate? I don't know that. You think Jesus ever walked through this gate? I can't imagine how it could have happened that Jesus never walked through this gate. Of course he did. Whatever the gate was and wherever it was, and Jesus spending all this time in Jerusalem at various times, and people all over Jerusalem when he didn't show up in John 7. Where is he? Where is he? Did this beggar never heard of Jesus before now? Of course he did. That name, Jesus of Nazareth, and faith in that name. That's a name he'd heard before. He's not blind. He's lame. He's not deaf. He's lame. Has he ever seen Jesus? I don't know. I think it's highly probable. Then why didn't Jesus heal him? My best answer, if all of those hypotheticals are true, is he wasn't ready. We talked about that Sunday. He wasn't ready. Many others in Israel were, but not everyone. Were people in Nazareth not ready? And Jesus could do no mighty work there because of their unbelief. They were limiting the power of God. Is it possible that this man was? But now he's closer than he's ever been. And now the offer is made. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. It's not Jesus, it's Peter. But there's that name. This man has a choice. He has a choice to make. He could get really upset. What are you? You are mocking me. You're embarrassing me in front of everybody. Everybody up here knows I can't walk. This man's been doing this for years. The passage will prove that out. He's not new to this gate. He's not new to the Temple Mount. People know him. You're mocking me. Leave me alone. But not today. Not today. Maybe yesterday. Maybe when Jesus had walked through, he wasn't there. But what is it going to look like for a man who's never walked, whose legs are thinner than your arms? How is he ever going to get up and walk? Well, that's an interesting thing. And I would say this. Faith Baptist Church, dear folks, this is can we say it this way, the lameness that maybe we have in our Christianity. Like this man, we come often the same way, expecting nothing more than a little pittance, but not a real miracle. God, I need my life changed. You got to do something in me. All we have to do is come to the point of this man where instead of lashing out at Peter and saying, get out of my face, he sits there for a minute. What do you mean walk? Can you imagine what might have gone through his mind? What do you mean walk? He doesn't say a word, but there's got to be a lot going through his mind. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, it's the only instruction given. Take hold of the name. And he does. He lays hold of the name. How can you lay hold of a name? It's called faith. I can't do it, but somehow I believe he can. I didn't believe it yesterday or last week. Last year it was nothing to me. I heard about others and how this Jesus had delivered them, but not me. I just came for a little more money. Just the same thing. Not today. Not today. Today has to be different. The offer is there again. The name of Jesus. Verse 7. And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up. Now, I'm teaching this in my Bible class, and some of my Bible students are here, so maybe they'd be a little better at it. You've got to look at every word. What is happening right now, you hang on every single word. Who is he? He took him. Those pronouns sometimes get us. Who is he? And who is him? Who's he? Peter took him. So Peter reaches down and took him by the hand. Now he has a lame man by the hand. And lifted him up, and immediately. Notice the progression. His feet and ankle bones received strength. Here's my question for you. Does this sound like Peter reached down and with one hand on hand, lifted him 100 pounds, 120, whatever he was, 140? Did Peter lift him up and hold him up on his feet? No. I don't think that's what we're to see there. And honestly, what I think we see is a man, Peter, who's encouraging him. Let me give you a helping hand, but I can't do this for you. What do you think? You think Peter, now look, Peter was a what? A fisherman. Has he got some pipes on him? Okay, well that's probably true, though he hasn't been fishing for a while, so maybe he's getting a little flabby, I don't know. But Peter, we want to see him as a real man. He acts like one anyway. We don't know what he looked like, but okay, fine. What's Peter going to do? Like lift him up and carry him around the Temple Mount? I think you're getting it. Try a little harder. That's not what's happening. And that's not what we're to see. Peter gave him a helping hand. There's a lesson here for us. For each other and for those people out there. We need to be willing to get involved. Peter didn't just say it and move on. He gave him a helping hand. And the man by faith took Peter's hand and immediately, at the same time. Now, let's stop for a minute and let's get into a little bit of science here. How do legs work? How do muscle? How's this going to work? What literally is involved there to make that happen? Physiologically. Do you know? What is it? Yeah. Right? You right? Had he ever tried to do that before, like send the impulses down to those? Had he ever? We thought maybe, yeah, we don't have a verse on it, but who wouldn't have? He's tried since he was a boy, I'm sure. Mom, come look, I think my toes are moving, Had those impulses ever made it through? Well, no. Apparently not. Something was blocking it. It's not getting through. This time, he was asked to trust God and send the impulses again. And this time, it was met by God's strength. His faith, I'm going to believe you, God. And those impulses made it through when it says, and immediately his feet and ankle bones received strength. Our decision to trust God, I don't know about this soul winning thing, but I'm going to trust you. God, I don't know about faith promise. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm going to believe you for it. And your faith is going to be met with God's strength. If you just sit there and wait and say, well, I don't know, God, lift me up. I'm sitting here like I've always been. Get me on my feet. That's not faith. He had to at least send the impulse. Send it. Faith promise, faithful at church, soul winning, somebody you know that you need to just challenge. Are you 100%? Do you know for sure you're on your way to heaven? I think I could help you find out how. Send the impulse. And it'll be met by God's strength. And what happened? Did he get up and go, oh, help me. Is that what happened? What's it say? And he leaping up, which tells us Peter didn't do that. He, leaping up, stood and walked and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising God. That's what we need. That's what Faith Baptist Church needs. If we don't admit that we're coming in some matter of lameness in our lives and that we need a miracle, God, that miracle can be corporate, sure. It's only going to happen if individual people recognize our need for God. And we come together in prayer, understanding, God, we're not operating like your bride ought to operate. There's a bit of lameness there, this way or that way. God, help me send the impulse. Meet my faith with strength. Try it. God is waiting for us to try him. All right, we're going to go to prayer. And, oh boy. Now, even as we continue just now to divide up into smaller groups, we're still here. We're working our way towards a corporate prayer meeting. But pray that way. Don't be ashamed to cry out to God. Yes, there's requests that you have and needs that you know are there, but this is the one that really needs to be met. This is the one that will change our church, change us, change our community, change our country. And that's the one that's needed. So divide up as you want. You can pray by yourself or in twos or threes as a family. And let's go to the Lord in prayer, and I'll close it at, oh, wait a minute. We need to have